Imagine, if you would, 2.4 million homes underwater in the US, because that's what we're looking at right now if we don't do something about the environment, and that's what's going to happen by the end of the century. I'm Nigel Chivers, and I'm very concerned about what's happening with the rising oceans of the world. And I thought that if we could communicate some stuff about why the oceans are rising and what's causing all the CO2 in this world, then we can maybe get empowered to do something about it. Because that's what it's all about, not waiting for the government to do something. It's you and I getting involved and actually making a difference to this world right now. So I wanted to talk about carbon and what's happening with the carbon cycle and why the carbon CO2 is going up in concentration in the atmosphere. So to do that, I think you got to understand there's two different types of carbon that we can talk about in the world. There's basically carbon which is in a cycle, which is continuously being processed. There's plants, and there's animals, and these two things are a reservoir of carbon which give off CO2 when they breathe, and when the plants photosynthesize, they bring the CO2 back. So CO2 is actually in a complete cycle. When plants and animals, they die, they decompose, they release the carbon. When carbon is taken back up into the plants, it's a good thing because it's a cycle. That's the cycle for carbon dioxide. You also have another type of carbon in the world. And so deep in the earth there's oil, gas, coal, and these things are fossil fuels. They're always going to be trapped under the earth, and they're never going to make the concentration of the atmosphere higher until we come along. And we drill for the oil and we mine the coal, and what happens is when we burn it, it goes over here and it increases the carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide, when it increases, the greenhouse effect increases and the temperature of the world goes up and the polar ice caps melt and you get higher oceans. So I think if we understand that a little bit better, that 87% of all of the CO2 being released right now in the world is coming from this area right here. 9% comes over here. And that's what? It's when we have a change of land use. We actually cut down the trees and there's no more trees to bring back the carbon dioxide back into the cycle. So the carbon dioxide stays up there at a high concentration. So that's 9% of all the carbon dioxide that's released comes from land use change. 87% comes from the fossil fuels. So I think it's pretty plain that we got to do something over here to make a change. I'm Nigel Chivers, and I think I'd like to thank you for listening, and we can listen to some more videos later on about what we can do about this. Thank you.